I still remember her eyes that night. They were wide, like she could see something the rest of us couldn't. But it was her laughter that haunted me. It was low, almost a whisper, and it sounded like the sound a snake makes just before it strikes. The village children say that if you're quiet enough, you can still hear her laughing in the dark, even now. My father had 3 wives, each different from the other. The first, Mama Okon, was a strong woman with a serious face and eyes that could silence any of us with a single look. She was strict but fair, and everyone in the family respected her. She raised us well, taught us the ways of our people, and expected us to carry ourselves with pride. Then there was Mama Inyang, the second wife. She was kind, soft-spoken, always with a gentle smile and a soft touch. She was like the comforting shade on a hot day, the kind you could lean on. But it was the third wife, Mama Ikit, who everyone talked about, though most wouldn't dare say her name out loud. She was beautiful, more beautiful than any woman I had ever seen. Her skin was dark and smooth, her eyes bright, almost too bright, and her laughter, at first, it was like music. But that laughter changed, almost as if it were hiding something darker, something that put a chill in your bones. Over time, I noticed it wasn't just me who felt uneasy around her. Mama Okon would tense up when Mama Ikit was near, and even Mama Inyang grew quiet whenever she entered the room. Strange things started happening not long after Mama Ikit came. At first, it was small things, little disturbances. A goat would wander off and vanish into the bush. We'd find feathers scattered around the compound or eggs cracked open without any explanation. Then it got worse. One morning, we found chickens dead, their necks twisted, but not a single feather out of place. Everyone was tense, but my father waved it off as nonsense. Animals are animals, he said. They fight. They die. It's nothing to worry about. But the unease lingered, and soon, my mother and the other wives began to complain of headaches and strange dreams. They'd wake up with marks on their bodies, red marks as if someone had pressed fingers deep into their skin while they slept. I remember one night when Mama Inyang's coughs woke us all. Her voice was so weak, so scratchy, like someone was squeezing her throat. Mama Okon tried to help her, but she was afraid of something she couldn't see. One night, I couldn't stand it anymore. I waited until everyone else had gone to sleep, then crept across the compound to where I had heard Mama Inyang's coughing. I wanted to help her, to see if there was anything I could do. As I got closer to the door, I heard another sound, a soft voice speaking in words I didn't understand. My heart beat faster. I knew that voice, it was Mama Ikit. She was standing over Mama Inyang, her hand moving in slow, strange patterns through the air. I watched in horror as she leaned over Mama Inyang, her mouth close to her ear, whispering things that made Mama Inyang shiver, her eyes open wide with fear. I wanted to scream, to run, but I was frozen. Then Mama Ikit suddenly turned her head and looked at me. Her eyes were dark and fierce, like she was seeing right through me. "Go back to sleep, little one," she said softly. "This doesn't concern you." I stumbled back, barely able to breathe, and hid under my blanket for the rest of the night. The next day, Mama Inyang was weaker than ever. She could hardly lift her head, her skin pale and damp with sweat. She didn't recover, and one morning, she was gone. They said it was sickness, but I knew better. I'd seen what had happened, and I couldn't shake the feeling that Mama Ikit was responsible. After Mama Inyang's passing, things only grew darker. Mama Okon gathered us children and warned us to stay away from Mama Ikit. She told us that there were forces in this world we didn't understand, things better left alone. "Be careful, children," she said, her face pale with worry. "Some people aren't what they seem. Don't go near her hut, and don't listen to her if she calls you." I tried to stay away, I really did, but sometimes at night, I would hear her. A soft hissing sound, almost like a snake, slipping through the silence of the compound. One night, I couldn't resist. I followed the sound, creeping quietly to her hut. I saw her sitting there, alone, her hands moving through the air in strange patterns, her voice low, speaking words that made my skin crawl. I don't know what happened next. Maybe I made a noise, maybe I breathed too loudly, but suddenly, she stopped. She looked straight at me, her eyes wide, almost shining in the moonlight. "What are you doing out here?" she asked, her voice low, carrying a threat. I was too afraid to answer. She leaned closer and whispered, "Some children don't know when to keep quiet." I ran back to my hut, my heart pounding, and hid under my blanket. I told myself it was just a nightmare, just something I'd imagined. But every night after that, I heard her. I heard her laughing softly to herself, a laugh that sounded like a snake ready to strike. It wasn't until a traveling priest came to our village that things changed. He was a serious man, with deep lines on his face and eyes that seemed to look right through you. He walked through our compound, looking at each of us in turn. When he saw Mama Ikit, he stopped, his gaze narrowing. He murmured something under his breath, words I couldn't understand, but Mama Ikit's face turned pale. She tried to laugh, that same soft, unsettling laugh, but her voice wavered. The priest raised a small bottle of water and began sprinkling it around the compound, chanting prayers. The closer he got to Mama Ikit, the louder she screamed. She ran into her hut, slamming the door behind her. But the priest didn't stop. He stood outside her hut, chanting louder and louder, his voice filling the air like thunder. The walls of her hut seemed to tremble, and then, silence. When they finally opened her door, Mama Ikit was gone. Not a trace of her, as if she'd vanished into thin air. The villagers were afraid to talk about it, but rumors spread. Some said she'd run into the forest, others that she'd disappeared into the night air, carried away by the spirits she'd been playing with. Since that day, no one has dared to go near her hut. The compound is quiet now, but some nights, when the wind is still and the moon is full, I swear I can still hear her laugh, soft and low, just like a snake's hiss. And even now, I stay far away from her empty hut, afraid that if I get too close, I might hear her voice again, calling me back into the darkness.